could easily be said as a master class of what an opening day should look like. Let me know who's out there. I have a comment already. Here we go. Covered. This is a good comment. Covered the spread by 20 points with no Bemba. Very impressive. Um, the one thing that you've heard over and over again, if you've been part of this channel, is this team is deep and very balanced. And what you saw today was a team that was very deep and very balanced. Aaron with a holy cow. Yeah, it was something. So when you can bring a Kyle Jorgensen into the starting lineup, Kyle's a backup center and the backup four. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He plays both the four and the five. But if you can't see the improvement of what he's done with his body to get stronger, much tougher on the boards, obviously can shoot the ball, scored inside as well, got to the free throw line. When we play with Rashawn Mbemba, we are an incredibly good team. When Rashawn plays 15 or more minutes, this team is 26-5 over the last 2 years. Without him today, we beat a team by 34. I believe the point spread I saw was 12 and a half in this game, something like that. And they're not a bad team. If you watched the show this morning, Incarnate Word is picked to finish second in the Southland Conference. A few good players. I had Ken DeWeese on the show to talk about him, and they got some NIL money there. They got NIL money that's consistent with where you might see the bottom half of the Mountain West. So they got some players. At number 5, Bailey, Davion Bailey, kind of tweaked his ankle in the first half. Slowed him down, still ended up with 20. They had a guard that went for 27, I think. Transfer from Cleveland State. I'll bet you they paid some money for him. Good players, good coach, good young coach, up and coming young coach. 2 former Division I head coaches on the staff. It's a well-coached team. That team played their starters basically the whole game to try and stay with CSU. 36 minutes for Bailey, and Stavesky was the other player. 47 points between the two of them. I've always talked about this when CSU was going really, really good. We might get one guy scoring on us or 2 guys scoring on us, but you won't see the ball shared very much. And that game devolved into a one-on-one game from the Incarnate Word side. They had no chance to move the ball against the defense, which was very, very, very good. But let's talk about CSU more than that's enough about the opponents. As I said, that final score, to be honest, flatters them playing their two big guns 36 minutes. CSU didn't play their starters any more than 26 minutes, I think, was what we saw with Recksteiner, Jorgensen, Mooney's all played 26, Pasquarelli 25, Booth 19. So basically, CSU rotated, played the entire bench, all the way down to walk-on local Charlie Dortch from Rocky Mountain High School, and brought the crowd to his feet by hitting a nice little jump hook from about 8 feet to score the Rams' final points. Everybody hit the score sheet. Everybody piled up stats. The Rams were devastating. They ran out to a 14-point lead in the first half, 41-27, and came out absolutely smoking in the second half. What was really funny was we talked, if you've heard me, if you listened to any of the shows, I talked about how I thought Josh Pasquarelli would probably be the leading scorer on this team because he can fill it up. And this is a team that is balanced, it's loaded. Pasquarelli had 2 points with 10 seconds left before the half. CSU ran Ali called a timeout, the last possession. Ran a play for Pasquarelli to get a 3. They defended the 3. He came in, took a couple of dribbles and shot about a 15-foot pull-up and made it with 4 seconds to go in the half. And then he opened the second half with a pair of 3s. And next thing you know, within a minute and a half, he was on 10 points. And that's the way he can play. That young man just a beautiful, beautiful touch. Um, I have a comment here. This is the guy that if you don't enjoy watching Jevon Muniz play, um, he is the quietest player out there. He doesn't do anything that you go, oh my God, that guy's amazing. And then you look at the end of the game and he finished with 13 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Had the guard on number 5, slowed down number 5, who hit a couple of threes real early, and then didn't score really till late when the game was already decided. That was the guy they needed to stop. That Davion Bailey is a very good player for Incarnate Word, and Jevon was fantastic. Up 8 spots in Torvik, give us respect. I want to show you something else. Let me pull up. I got to pull up a screen because this feeds in. We ended up first. I'll wait to pull up that screen. I want to talk about the balance that CSU showed today. We've talked about this balance, and you may never know who's going to lead the team in scoring. But I will tell you right now, it is always a good sign when all 5 of your starters score in double figures. Brandon Rechsteiner, 19.6 assists. Josh Pasquarelli, 18 points, as I mentioned. Kyle Jorgensen had a big first half, finished with 15 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, one rebound short of a double-double. As I mentioned, Jevon Muniz with 13 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and Carey Booth nailing threes, getting 6 rebounds as well, and defending. Had a good game and only 19 minutes. Carey played 19 minutes and delivered. But so anytime you get the depth, you get the balance and the depth that CSU showed when they went to the second team. Probably the first shift they were a little sloppy, had a little trouble finding the rhythm. But as the game went on, they got better. And you've got guys like Darnell Slater and Jace Butler coming off the bench, 2 big guards, big, strong, athletic guards that can defend, who did a great job defensively. Augie Kiadulis came off the bench, was very physical. And Nicola Joppa came off the bench and did well, stuff in the middle. I love this comment. Kyle looked like he lost baby fat and listed Jay. He's a different player, isn't he? Kyle is a different player. I'm going to try and get him on the show on Thursday night. I talked to him. He said text him, and we'll see if we can get him on. But getting back to the depth and the balance, it's really something. And it's going to make guys compete like crazy for minutes. It's not just the competing. They compete hard in practice, Lee, but it's gonna make them on top of it, and it's gonna force them to play the game the right way. And what we saw was a team that played the game the right way today. Jake put up a number here. Look at this number: 76% assist rate. If that isn't CSU basketball in a nutshell under Medved, and about to become the same way under Ali, 22 assists on 29 makes. Unbelievable, fantastic. They did a great job passing the ball. You won't always shoot threes the way they shot them today. They were 4 for 10 at the half. They shot 9 for 15 in the second half, finishing 13 for 25. The other thing is, if you look at it, a great free throw shooting team. I can guarantee you when we look up the numbers on KenPom, this team will be near the top in every shooting statistic. 29 for 48 on the game, 13 for 25 for 3, and 27 for 30 from the free throw line. So 60%, 52%, 90%, 40, 50, and 80 is considered quite good. 50, 60, 90, outrageous. Will it happen every game? I don't think so. But let me bring up, I'm going to bring up, let's see. Rechsteiner, Little Papa Jump. I want to talk about Brandon Rechsteiner because if you know, the real backstory is they didn't want him at Virginia Tech. This kid was about the 115th ranked recruit in the class of 2023, ranked ahead of Kyan Evans, ranked ahead of guys like BJ Davis, who starts for San Diego State, ranked ahead of a few other players that are considered very good Mountain West players. And they didn't want him because he didn't look like a very good basketball player in Virginia Tech. And when I had Ali talk about the portal guys after we closed the portal, I had Ali on the show, and he said wasn't in a system that really worked for him. And I'm excited to have Brandon. He's a really good player, and we will figure out a way to use him on the ball. We will figure out a way to use him off the ball because he's a very, very good player. And you saw what he's capable of doing. He struggled a little bit against Creighton in the exhibition, shooting the ball, finding his spots. Today, he picked his spots. He found them well. I think did he end up with 1 turnover, 5 assists, or 6 assists, 1 turnover, 6 for 7 from the field, 4 for 5. It's time to pull up the Ken Palm box score. But before I pull up the Ken Palm box score, I want to pull up the Ken Palm rankings because I think it was Jake mentioned that we had moved up 8 spots in Torvik. Well, we moved up more than that in Ken Palm. We moved up from 79 to 65, moved up 14 spots. Look at the team behind us, Virginia Tech. And I said something to Brandon after the game and made him laugh. I said, can you believe there's a school named Virginia Tech that didn't want you? And he just laughed. He goes, yeah, I know. He's so happy to be at Colorado State. He's so happy to be in a system with Ali Frokmanesh and the system he runs. He basically, as soon as he heard Kyan Evans was leaving, he jumped at the chance to play in the CSU system. He had heard good things about it from a former teammate of his at Virginia Tech, Sean Padula, who was a big-time player at Virginia Tech before he transferred to Ole Miss. Brandon was good friends with him. Padula told him that's a good system. We had recruited Padula at a high school as a prep out of Oklahoma, and he told Brandon good things. And so, look, this is what I love about Ken Pomeroy. The MVP of that game was Taj Stavesky, who had 27 points, shooting nothing but stuff. Look at the offensive rating for CSU's starters. This is unfreaking believable. A 150 O rating. Put it this way, if you average 120, you have a 120 rating, that's good. A 150 is extraordinary. Taj Stavesky with a 142. CSU O rating, Brandon Rechsteiner, 200. Jevin Muniz, 180. Kyle Jorgensen, 188. Josh Pasquarelli, 198. Kerry Booth, 193. There will not be a team that has 5 starters that does that. I don't care who they're playing, Little Sisters of the Poor. You will not see a more devastating offensive performance out of anybody this year. That is extraordinary. If we see that every game, that would be incredible. We will win a national championship shooting the ball like that. But Rechsteiner, 4 for 5. Jevin missed his threes, but Pasquarelli missed his first 2, made his last 4. So Rechsteiner and Pasquarelli between them, 8 for 11. Kerry Booth, 3 for 4. 11 for 15 out of those 3 guys. That's something else. And then you go to the 2 key bench guys that I think are probably going to be the 2 most important off the bench, other than Jorgensen. Realize Mbemba didn't start. But Kiadulis, a 109 rating, Jace Butler, a 123 rating. They played good, solid games in 18 and 17 minutes. Augie got to the free throw line, as he will do. Butler, just a great floor game, defending well. 1 for 2 on his threes, 1 for 1 on his had a nice driving layup. So very, very solid game. And then Slater, Joppa, McIver, all double-digit minutes. McConan, 4 points on 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Charlie Dortch, as I said, 2 points in 1 minute of action. No Nikola Joppa, and we're going to get a red shirt, I believe, out of Docker Tedeschi. Docker's a good player, man, but there's just not enough room for him. So who would have thought Padula would say nice things about CSU after getting whooped? Actually, they whooped us. He played for Miss Ole Miss. They beat us by 20. Um, so here we go. Lowest rated starter on Torvik, 5.4 PRPG. That's unfrickin' real. Yes. Aaron, it was, thanks for doing that. I didn't pull up Torvik. I just wanted to pull up. I went right to Ken Palm. And when I saw that we jumped 14 spots, and, you know, we were undervalued last year. We might be a little undervalued. This is not immaculate, Incarnate Word. I keep calling them Immaculate Word. They're not a bad team, folks. And they were at like 164 in the Ken Palm. So about the same place as Wyoming and San Jose State. So maybe we're going to be 34 points better than Wyoming like we were last year in Moby. I don't know. But an absolutely devastating, especially second half. That was just ridiculous. 57-37 playing. I should pull up the second half box score to see how many minutes we actually played in the second half, because I don't think 14 for Pasquarelli and Rechsteiner. No, that's points. Minutes 10, 12, 11, 11. So no one played more than 12 minutes. The starters, no one played 11, 12, 11, 11, 10, and 8. So basically less than a 25-minute run rate, and outscored them by 20 points against their starters. That's not a bad team we played. So a lot to be happy about. The second half, the points per possession, 1.78 points per possession. That's porn for offensive stats. Time leading 39 minutes and 23 seconds. We won the opening tip. I think we missed. They missed. We scored. That was it. We scored our first three possessions, ran out 7-0, and that was it. It was Katie barred the door after that. And as I said, Incarnate Word. I got to stop calling that. Yeah, 119 games last year. They're believe me, those two guys, number 5 and number 2, those guys can play. Those are both first-team all-conference players. And if you don't think they'd give a run for the money to be all-conference level players in the Mountain West, you're crazy. Tom Moser already posted Boise done for an at-large bid. You know what the good news is there, Lee? It doesn't count. It's a Division II game. It doesn't count. It doesn't show up when they go do net rankings. Division II losses do not count. Now, does it count in Ken Palm? I think Ken Palm figures out a way to factor that stuff in. So they showed up. Let's see. They started the night. Nope, it doesn't factor at all. They started the night at 53 and they fell to 54. All that means is somebody played better than them who played a game. So no, Ken Palm doesn't even factor them out. Unbelievable that they lost. I gotta see what happened there. I thought there might be some issues with their 3-point shooting, and my God, they took 33 3-point shots and made 10 of them. They had a center. And here's Ken Palm, the star of the game, the MVP of the game in a 1-point loss to a Division II school was their freshman center, Spencer Ahrens. He's from Canada. He's a very good player, 4 for 7. But the guys, I have some thoughts. I like Andrew Meadow. I don't think he's necessarily a leader. I think he's a number 2 player. I like their point guard, Dylan Andrews. And he had 15 points, 9 assists, but 5 turnovers. He's a turnover-prone player. They talked up Javen Buchanan, who was their kind of a 3-4 small forward, power forward, 6 points tonight on 1 for 7 shooting. Pearson Carmichael, I'm not a big fan of him. Peanut Carmichael, I thought he was overrated. And so interesting that they lost. They played 10 guys double-digit minutes, but they played three of their starters 26, 29, 33. They played their freshman guard 25 and their freshman forward 20 minutes. And that lineup is going to go through some interesting changes because they had 21 assists, 12 turnovers, but they didn't turn over Hawaii Pacific. They out rebounded them dramatically. They didn't defend very well. They allowed Hawaii Pacific to shoot 60% from the field, 35% from three. And quite frankly, that is amazing to lose to a Division II team. They're better than that. They should have won that game easily. But here we go. Here we go. I didn't see this. Casey Evans, 15, 6, 5, and 4. Is the 4 turnovers or steals? That's all I need to know. I don't have time to look it up, but I had heard he played not a lot of minutes, but they played a weak team, and that's not a surprise out of Kyan. I think Kyan is going to do fine there. I don't think it's necessarily a system that's conducive to him, but once he finds the spots of where to take 3-pointers, he will make 3-pointers. He's a very, very good shooter. We saw last year. I mean, he shot high 40s last year over the last 10 games against good teams. He's a hell of a shooter. So Lee doesn't think the committee's going to forget. I don't know, man. I think they'll. I don't think it matters. It's just a disappointment, and you just can't do those kinds of things. I assume the other Mountain West teams are rolling through. I did notice CU struggled with Montana State. Jaden Stepp, former CSU freshman who transferred to Montana State, got off the bench and played for Montana State. I was really hoping for him to do well, and he's playing. I think he was 1 for 3 when with 10 minutes left to go in the game. I think he had 1 field goal, but I don't know what he ended up. But it's fun to see. I always check on that. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about with CSU, we talked about the shooting. We talked about the sharing of the ball. What was really interesting was the turnovers. They had 6 in the first half. I believe they ended up with 10 over the game. And many of those, 10 turnovers. One was a shot clock violation. Joppa had 3. Rexsteiner only had 1. Muniz had 1. No, I'm sorry. Slater, Butler, Rexsteiner, Kiadulis. Most of the turnovers, it seemed, in the first half were coming because we were trying to push the ball. And that's fine. I don't mind those turnovers because that's something you got to get used to doing. And so what was really positive was when we ran the half court stuff, we were dynamite running out of the half court, running the sets. Incarnate Word ran a lot of 2-3 zone in the second half, and they thought they might see more 1-3-1 out of them. We didn't see any 1-3-1. We saw a lot of 2-3 zone, and CSU absolutely shredded that zone, finding it didn't matter who they were finding at the top of the key, not the top of the key, at the elbow, getting the ball after a couple passes outside, a couple of screens, the ball would go into the elbow, penetration. You saw dishes to guys like Booth. You saw dishes to guys like Pasquarelli, dishes to guys like Rexsteiner. The ball was getting inside and going back out. A lot of that is the maturity of a guy like Jevin Muniz, and also Kyle Jorgensen doing a great job as well. Kyle had 4 assists. So when you see your bigs sharing the ball like that, shooting the threes like that, you know you're getting good play out of them. But it's really the whole team. And like I said, the turnovers, 22 assists to 10 turnovers, and I think half those turnovers were when we were pushing the ball, and that's good. That's how you use the early games. The other thing, something just hit me. something just struck me, and I want to talk about it. It had to do with the timeout. There we go. Look at this. Here we go with the Gophers. Croc with 13 points and 14 rebounds. I love it. Croc is a hell of a player. You won't hear me say anything. We lost two really good players, but we got some really good players out of the portal. Kerry Booth is a much different player than Croc. Not as physical, but he's a better shooter. Um, and I think that losing Kyan Evans hurt, but Rexsteiner, believe me, Rexsteiner's going to be a really, really good player. Rexsteiner is more physical. Kyan maybe a little more stealth on defense, little sneakier, good defender. Rexsteiner is going to be physical, running off of screens. We've got guards. Rexsteiner didn't surprise me defensively. Josh Pasquarelli had a great game defensively. He was very, very physical. Josh is a 6'3", 195-pound kid, pure shooter. But when he defends like that, that's the name of the game with this team. And CSU defended really, really well to the tune of, like I said, we ended up 1.6 points per possession. Uh, they ended up with 1 point per possession, and a lot of that came in garbage time at the end. That was just a dominant defensive performance. We defended the 3-point line very, very well. 6 for 26, which means they shot 17 for 33, basically 50% on their twos. So not an unbelievable percentage. Rebound wise, they didn't have many rebounds. It's amazing to me we had that many rebounds, but a lot of that is driven by the fact that we really didn't miss. We missed 3 free throws. We missed 19 field goals. So there were 22 rebounding opportunities. They ended up with 13 of them. So they didn't do a bad job on the boards. They didn't do a great job. I'm just looking at their plus minuses too. When you see their star player minus 34, there's MVP with 27 points. Ken Palm MVP minus 29. How he awards MVPs on games like that is beyond me. That's just garbage. The MVP of this game, I could have given it to any one of several. Rexsteiner, Jorgensen, Muniz, and Pasquarelli with 18 and Booth with 11 were awfully good. But in the end, I'd probably say it was. I'd probably give Rexsteiner the slight edge, but boy, did I love the way Jevon Muniz played today. So here we go. Kiadulis had a little issue with forcing. Yeah, he did. And that's Lee. This is the thing. Augie is a very physical player, and he's not afraid to go one-on-one, and he tries to draw fouls. And once he figures out his spots in the offense, I actually think we got another Joel Scott with Augie, and he's coming off the bench, and I think he's going to be every bit as good as Joel Scott was. I really do. He's very, very big and physical. He's a little bigger than Joel. I think he's 6'8" and 230. Joel was 6'7", I think 2.25. Joel was very polished, scoring down low. Augie will get there. One of the things that I'm dying to see is if they figure out with Augie, maybe run some stuff with him in the 5 position like they did with Joel, run some spots where they think they can get him on the ISO down low like they used to do with Joel. Augie is devastating if you can get him ISO'd, and he will go to the free throw line 8 times a game. He went 4 times tonight. He turned the ball over a couple times trying to force it when he probably could have passed it. But one of the things, if you notice, we have a coach who spends a lot of time with the players, talking to the players. That was something Nico didn't do as much. Nico relied on his assistants to do it. Ali spent a lot of time with Augie today, coaching him up and telling him, sharing some things that he can do better. I heard some stories about how he talked with Rexsteiner after the Creighton game to get him to start, to look at things a little differently. And you saw Rexsteiner today was an all-conference level performer. I don't care if it's against Incarnate Word. You go for 19 and 6 against 1 turnover and offensive efficiency like that in 26 minutes. That's all conference level. So Muniz with the stash looks 30. He's a great kid. Those of you that know the backstory, coached by my friend Tom Moser, who I do my Mountain West show with. Tom coached him in high school, so he knew all about Jevon, and he was so excited when Jevon came to CSU. He's a very complete, very quiet, very efficient player, and that I love players like that. No flash to his game. And this Aaron with the comment of the night. This was a game that the outcome didn't matter. Just had to try some things since this was a glorified practice. BJ Rains probably. I'm at a loss. I think they will miss Degenhart more than you think. I do like the guard they got, Andrews, out of UCLA, but I do not like their offensive system. I don't think I, I just don't like it. There's certain teams that run offenses, and I just don't like watching them play offense. We are spoiled at CSU. We were spoiled by Nico. We were spoiled running a similar kind of thing today, but there were some tweaks. Oh, the one thing I wanted to mention, and this is something I'm not sure if Nico would have done this, but Ali is coaching championship basketball right away, and I point to one play and one play alone, and that is I talked about Pasquarelli running a play for Pasquarelli to get him a three uh, off of a timeout at the end of the first half, and he made the shot, and with 4 seconds. 4.5 seconds left to go. The Incarnate Word coach took a timeout, and they were inbounding the ball from their backcourt. And Ali put freshman guard Jojo McIver in, and Jojo had already played a few minutes. And Jojo's going to be a very good player, but Jojo is not a starter. He put Jojo in to do one thing, and that was to take a foul. CSU had one foul to give. We only had five with 4 seconds to go. And I always look at those little things. When you got a foul to give, you got to use them. And Ali used it, and it forced Incarnate Word to inbound the ball from three-quarter court, throw the ball to a guy at midcourt, and it was a guy, number 2, who was making all kinds of shit, and he threw something up, and it wasn't close. But already the game coaching of fouling when you have a foul to give inside of 4 seconds when you're up 14 points. I think that is fantastic. And I love coaches that are on top of things like that. Nico would sometimes foul in big games. I don't think Nico would have fouled in this game. I like that we're getting there right out of the chute, and coaching to win, making winning plays from the start to the finish. Here's a comment here. Rams put up notice they'll be contender this year, much better than 7th. If you've heard me talk about them, I think I like San Diego State a lot. I like Utah State a lot, and I think they're going to fight it out at the top. I do. There's some things I don't like about San Diego State's team. I think they're athletic as all get out and have a lot of experience, but they don't have a lot of success winning on the road, those players, the last 2 years. And they're going to have to really pick up their game to get better on the road in the Mountain West. I saw Utah State play an exhibition against Seattle University, and I do like their team. I think they're going to be good. They don't run the same offense as CSU, but they run an offense where they share the ball and the ball movement is good, and they have similar kinds of athletes. They are built well. They are deep as well. And so I think they're going to be a very, very tough team. But I honestly believe anywhere spots 3 for 8 are up for grabs. And I can see CSU finishing easily in the top 3. I can. They're going to have to get better. They're going to have to keep developing. Last year, one of the cautions I have, let's not go overboard with one game. Last year, they opened with a 30-point win against North Dakota. I think they were favored by 15 or 20, and North Dakota was supposed to be a decent team, and CSU rolled all over them. I think it was like 90-60. They just murdered them. And then the second game, they had a weaker opponent, Tennessee State. We went overtime with Tennessee State, a team we should have handled by 20 or 25 points, and we went overtime. So I'm not going to get too excited until I start seeing consistency. Obviously, I'd love to see us shoot the ball like that the rest of the season. But the bottom line is we need to stack game upon game upon game. And they've got a week to get 5 days to get ready. Hopefully, Rashawn will be back to play. I think he's going to try. Joppa looked like he might have taken a knee to the thigh. We can't afford to be down two bigs, Joppa and Mbemba. We're going to need at least two of them. Obviously, we have good depth with at the four with Booth and Kiadulis, but we're going to want to have at least Nicola able to play 15 minutes, and it'd be really nice to get Rashawn back as well. So that's for the Omaha game on Sunday. Omaha opened with a tough loss. They were ahead of Murray State most of the first half. Murray State is probably going to be a decent team. Somebody came in with some NIL at Murray State. Omaha, I think, ended up losing by about 8. And gave Murray State a decent game. They're a decent team, and I have them as as a cow pie. They could give us as a good game. Here's a comment here. GCU will discover life on the road, and the Mountain West is not a picnic. Yeah, we know that. We went 7-3 on the road last year and played phenomenal basketball to go 7-3, but we got smashed at New Mexico, and we got smashed at San Diego State, and we got smashed at Utah State. We got that one back to 8, but we were down 23 points in that game. All three of those games we were down at least 15 and as much as 25 points. So it is a tough life on the road, and it can happen. The shooting. I'm a believer. The NBA, those guys are great shooters because night after night, it doesn't matter what arena they're in. But teams in college, kids shoot great at home and sometimes struggle on the road. And different looks, different arenas. They aren't quite great shooters yet, a lot of them. And that's when you find out who the really good ones are, when they can go on the road and make a bunch of shots, kind of like Neek did against Boise State last year. So anyway, that's a good comment though. It's going to be, the Mountain West is going to be tough, and I think GCU is going to do fine, but it's going to be interesting. GCU didn't draw Moby Arena this year. That's a shame. Speaking of Moby Arena, the crowd filled in pretty well. Students filled in pretty well. I think they probably had I don't know what they're going to show the attendance. The lower bowl they're all sold out season tickets, and there were a lot of empty seats early. They gradually filled in. The announced attendance, I don't know if they got to 5,000. The crowd was good tonight. The only shocker to me was it was a whiteout. And for some reason, and I didn't hear this explained, maybe it was explained on the radio or the TV broadcast, but for some reason, for a whiteout, CSU wore green. And that didn't make sense. We always wear white at home until senior night. And for some reason, we wore green on a whiteout. And they had these beautiful, beautiful towels. Let me show you these beautiful, beautiful towels. Moby Madness, sponsored by Mirinda Simpson, State Farm. Mirinda, if you're watching or you know somebody who's watching, if somebody's watching that knows Mirinda, I'd love to have her as a sponsor for this show. I know she's a big basketball fan. I'd love to get her involved with a sponsorship, but we wore green and it was a whiteout. So I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe somebody out there knows. Here we go. Neek played 19, 8 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists in 19 minutes today. I was getting a play-by-play from my buddy Mike Rowe. Mike was at the game. Some of the CSU people who live down in Denver went to the Nugget game. I assume the Kings got smoked. They're not very good. So anyway, good for Neek. He'll be back again in about a little over 2 weeks. I think actually three. It's the I think the Monday before Thanksgiving. Sacramento comes back to to play the Nuggets in Ball Arena. So I'm gonna start shutting it down, gang. This has been fun. We've got I've got 171 people watching live. It's been a fun day. I had Ken DeWeese on this morning. We had a fun show with Marty. Those of you who don't follow me on X or didn't see the show this morning, um, we broke a story today that Marty Lenz will be doing color commentary on the last four CSU football radio broadcasts with Brian Roth, and I'm so excited for Marty. Those of you who know him, he's been in radio for 30 years. He's got an unbelievable voice. He's an ex CSU football player. He walked on back in the day, and he knows the game really, really well, and he'll do an extraordinary job. And so that to me was really, really exciting. But we broke the story. So there's a lot of other things I could have broken over the last few years, but there's some stuff I hold on to, I don't share. But we did it. We had a fun show with Ken DeWeese this morning. Ken had the offensive scout, and so he was in charge of understanding what the defense of Incarnate Word was going to do. And I have to say, he gets an A++ for what he did because the 1.6 whatever points per possession, an unbelievable, extraordinary performance, 98 points, and setting us up for success. Oh, before I go, one more thing. Mike Rowe is a fair weather CSU fan. Yeah, Aaron, he doesn't go to all the football games, does he? But he goes to almost as many as you do. You guys are nuts. You guys are good. You're the best fans going. So yeah, it's fun to tease him. I tease him. We tease him a lot on. We have a little text group. Then Mikey gets worked pretty hard. Anyway, that was this morning's show. I'll have a guest. I'll try and get a player for Swallowpalooza Thursday. And then we'll do our first Mountain West show with Tom Moser on Saturday night. And we'll talk about, there's a few games going on Saturday. I think there's 6 or 7 Mountain West games. We'll probably focus, believe it or not, the best game looked like it was going to be Boise against Utah Valley. That's one we'll keep an eye on after tonight, after Boise got beat. But we'll do a show. I'll do a show with Tom on the Mountain West tonight in the Mountain West on Saturday night. And then Sunday, the game at 4 o'clock. CSU, I forget who the women play. The women play at 1. The men play Omaha at 4 o'clock. So we'll do a post-game show about 6:30 on Sunday evening, and then be right back at it on Monday morning. And then for my Monday morning cup of coffee, I am going to try to get Brian Roth as a guest. I would love to have Brian and get his impressions of what he's seeing out of the CSU basketball team the first couple of games, but I also want him to critique Marty. I think that would be a fun show. We'll see if we can get Brian, if he's available Monday morning. If not, we'll have a good guest no matter what. And then we have another game on Wednesday to do a post-game show. We got a Swallowpalooza Thursday. And then next week, I'll do a show with Tom on Saturday. And then Sunday, that's Sunday the 16th, so a week from Sunday, CSU is at Loyola of Chicago, and I will not be doing a post-game show because I will be in Loyola of Chicago at the game, and we'll talk about it on Monday morning on the Monday Morning Cup of Coffee show. I am flying in that day, going to the game, and flying back at night, and I won't get back home until midnight. So we'll do the 8 o'clock Monday Morning Cup of Coffee show, but I'm about to get real busy, and when I'm busy, I'm having fun. This is a lot of fun. This team, as you know, is a lot of fun. You watched it. If you listened to it, if you were there in person, this is a team that's going to be fun. We may have some peaks, we may have some valleys, but all in all, what a way to start the season as the Colorado State Rams opened 98-64 over the Incarnate Word Cardinals. I'm going to call it a night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Let's do it again. Go Rams.